Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to this national webinar on understanding our autistic friends. We have come today to enhance our understanding and awareness of autism, a condition that affects millions worldwide but is still often misunderstood. To begin this to begin this enlightening session on a positive note, let us listen to a welcome song presented by our first year B.Ed student, Saishil Bodkar.
स्वागतम् अथ स्वागतम् शुभ स्वागतम् अथ स्वागतम् आनन्दमङ्गलमङ्गलम् आनन्दमङ्गलमङ्गलम् नित्य भारतम् नित्यप्रियं भारत भारतम् स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम् अथ स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम् नित्यनिरन्तरता नवता मानवता समता ममता नित्यनिरन्तरता नवता मानवता समता ममता सारथि सार्थ मनोरथ का जो निवार्थ नहीं थमता सारथि सार्थ मनोरथ का जो निवार्थ नहीं थमता संकल्प विजित अभिमतम् संकल्प विजित अभिमतम् आनन्दमङ्गलमङ्गलम् आनन्दमङ्गलमङ्गलम् नित्यप्रियं भारत प्रियं भारत भारतम् स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम् अथ स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम् कुसुमितनये कामनाये सुरभितनये साधनाये कुसुमितनये कामनाये सुरभितनये साधनाये मैत्री मातृ क्रीडांगन में प्रबुदित बंधु भावनाये मैत्री मातृ क्रीडांगन बंधु भावनाये शाश्वत सुविकसित अति शुभम शाश्वत सुविकसित अति शुभम आनंद मंगल मंगलम आनंद मंगल मंगलम स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम् अथ स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतं शुभ स्वागतम्
Thank you for that melodious start. To symbolize the removal of ignorance and the illumination of knowledge, we shall now have the digital lighting of the lamp. May I request our resource person, Dr. Sunanda Roy, our principal, Mr. Ratnadeep Khade sir, webinar chairperson, assistant professor, Mr. Ketan Kamble sir, the IQAC coordinator, inclusive club in charge and webinar convener, assistant professor, Ms. Savia De Souza, the RDC coordinator and webinar coordinator, to virtually join in the digital lighting of the lamp. Thank you, dignitaries. I now invite Mr. Ratnadeep Khadesar, the principal of Ponda Education Society's College of Education and webinar chairperson, to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you, Nerissa. Good evening, everyone. I am delighted to welcome you all to this national webinar on understanding our autistic friends, organized by Inclusive Club under IKC of Ponda Union Society's College of Education, Farmagudi, Ponda, Goa. Today evening, it's a pleasure to have such an esteemed gathering of teaching professionals with us. In next 1.5 hours, we will have an exciting lineup of knowledgeful presentation and doubt clearing question and answer session by Dr. Sunanda Roy Madam, who will share her expertise on the topic related to autism. We, Ponda Union Society's College of Education, welcome you, Madam. Autism is a neuroscientific developmental disorder in a child, and as a teaching professional, we need to understand it very aptly. I am very much thankful to Inclusive Club members as well as Mr. Ketan Kamble sir, IQAC coordinator and the webinar convener, and Ms. Savia D'Souza, RDC and webinar coordinator for planning to organize this webinar. And I offer my best wishes for webinar and sessions ahead. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. I now request Mr. Ketan Kamble sir, the IQAC coordinator, Inclusive Club in charge, and the webinar convener, to kindly introduce our esteemed resource person for today's session, Dr. Sunanda Roy.
Thank you so much, Nerissa. Ladies and gentlemen, heartfelt namaste to all of you. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Sunanda Siddharth Roy, who is working as Assistant Professor at Adarsh Comprehensive College of Education and Research, Pune. Dr. Roy is a renowned educator, researcher, and trainer with a wealth of experience in educational psychology, cooperative learning, inclusive education, and online teaching and learning. Her impressive academic credentials include a PhD in education, MEd, and MA in educational psychology. With over 15 years of teaching experience, Dr. Roy has worked as school teacher, teacher educator, and research guide. She has published numerous research papers, book chapters, and a book on inclusive education. Her expertise has been recognized through various awards, including Teacher Par Excellence Award in 2019. As a sought after resource person, Dr. Roy has conducted workshops, training programs, and faculty development programs for various esteemed institutes, including Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning, and Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Today, Dr. Roy will share her expertise with us on understanding our autistic friend. We are honored to have her with us and look forward to an enlightening and engaging session. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sunanda Siddharth Roy.
Thank you, sir. We are privileged to have Dr. Sunanda Roy with us today. Without further ado, I invite Dr. Sunanda Roy to commence the session.
Yeah. Kindly allow ma'am to share the screen.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible to everybody. Yes.
Certainly.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, although digitally, but I could, gauge the amount of warmth that was there in the welcome. I want to thank Ketan sir for inviting me, and I really look forward to interacting with all the participants. Saishil, the welcome song was beautifully sung. That was really nice. And Narissa, you conducted the session so beautifully. I also would like to appreciate Om because digitally, I think he is the one who is handling. So well done, students. Um, Before I begin with the session, I would actually like to share my screen and I would like to show a video. See, I don't like one-way sessions, right? I don't like it because then it becomes very boring. I would really urge you and request all of you to participate. If you can switch on your videos, well and good. If you can't, you can, whenever I ask any questions or if you have any doubts or questions, you can ask me. You can unmute yourself and you can ask. You can also ask me in any questions in the chat, or even you can answer in the chat, and then we can have a discussion. So before I begin with the presentation, I would like to show you a video. So I hope I will be able to present it. Do let me know if it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Just 1 minute. There seems to be some problem. Ketan sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
if I share the link with you, will you be able to present it?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not. I see there's some problem over here.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So if you could help me out, please.
Yeah. 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 No problem. No problem.
Yeah. I have shared it in the WhatsApp.
Yes, ma'am. Received.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we are sharing, na, then it is asking for
Yeah.
a premium subscription.
Oh, is that so? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Then it's okay. Fine. We'll go ahead without it. It would have been nice if I could share the video. All right, doesn't matter. We'll go ahead with the presentation. Just let me know if I am able to present the, if you're able to at least, see the presentation. Is it visible?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Only thing is, full screen is not seen. I mean to say the
Yeah,
presentation.
I'm trying to do it, but it's not.
Yeah, I shall help
Yeah,
you.
just I'll. Yeah,
Uh, Stop sharing the
I'll
screen.
stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, now share this. While sharing, na, so it will ask you option of entire window. So you select that one.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I've selected that one.
Okay.
So let's see. I hope.
Yeah, entire window, and then it usually runs.
Okay, I'll just try it out once more.
Okay.
And I have to keep my PPT full screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, in slideshow mode, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Why isn't it moving forward? I'm so sorry about this. Yes, yes. Entire screen, right? Okay, okay, fine. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to show this YouTube video. I'm not very sure if, let's try it from here. It's possible. Is it audible?
No, it is visible but not audible.
Okay, even if it is not visible, if it's not audible, I would still want to, share this with you all. Just have a look at the children who are being shown in this video. Just look at the different types of behavior. This is a normal child, okay? And this is a child who has autism. I would like you to look at all the behavior. This girl is a normal girl. The child on the right has autism. You notice that he doesn't maintain eye contact. Whereas the child on the left, she is a normal child. The child on the right is again a child with autism syndrome. Look at the behavior of the children. This child also has autism syndrome. This chart shows that the students or the children with autism, they have very delayed developmental milestones. They are not able to achieve it as soon as the regular children. This is a normal or regular child. We'll stop over here. And what I want to know from you all, those of you who were able to see the video, what were the symptoms of the children with autism? What could you see? You can put it up in the chat also, or you can unmute and answer. To and fro, very good. Yes. To and fro movements, that's good. Any other answer? That's Savia, ma'am. Tage, I'm not very sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Yes, lack of eye contact, very good. Pandit says no eye contact. Yes, we can say that there was very limited eye contact, right? Yes. Anything else? How are their social skills? How are the social skills? Social skills were poor. That's correct. Yes. Tage, I don't know if I'm pronouncing again. I'm not very sure. Meltdown in certain times. Yes, that's absolutely right. They tend to melt down. They have meltdowns or they start crying. They have mood swings, right? So the reason why I wanted to show you this video is that in the first instance, you may not be able to identify a child with autism because they look like regular children. It's only when you start observing them, looking at their behavior, that's when you understand that there is something that the child is, some kind of challenge that the child is facing. So let's try and get to know about our friends with autistic spectrum syndrome. We talk about autism, we say that it is autism, but actually it's a spectrum. So it's a syndrome which is there. So we just discussed about what were the indications of autism. So it is actually a neurological disorder and developmental disability. This is what Principal Sir was also talking about, that it is a neurological disorder which is affected by the brain and the spinal cord, and it affects the development and it affects the normal functioning of the brain. It's present from birth, and it also has an effect of how the student learns and the learning capacities of the students, and it's usually diagnosed by the age of 3 years old. Can you tell me why is it that from the age of 3 we are able to diagnose autism? Why not before the age of 3? Why do we have to wait till the age of 3? Why not before that?
Ma'am, because they develop their language skills or like uh, communications
Very
till the three, so we can understand it better.
Very good. Yes, Jessney, right? I hope I've got your name right. That's a very good answer. Yes, it's the language skills and it's actually the social skills. Till the age of 3, you will find that children are very consumed or very self centered. They do not socialize much. They like to play by themselves. They may not interact with others. So it's very difficult to say whether the child has got autism or not, because if you look at small children, they are in their own world and they are fine with themselves. They are able to play with themselves. They do not require a lot of interaction. It's after the age of 3 when language development takes place and the social skills development takes place. So moving further, these children, they have difficulty in communication skills, social skills, as well as reasoning. Because see, it is through communication also that we get to learn a lot of things, and reasoning is an ability when you try and understand the cause and effect kind of relationship. That's where the reasoning skills come up, and therefore it is these children, they have a lot of difficulty with reasoning. Some of them have severe intellectual difficulties, but some of them are gifted or brilliant. In our culture or even in our Bollywood movies, there have been movies on people having autism. I'm sure My Name is Khan is a movie which many of you all must have watched. Can somebody tell me what was his gift? He was very good at something. What was what was that thing that he was very good at? There was one thing that he was very good at. Remembering. Okay, Priyanka. Anything else? Yes. Any other gift that he had? Yes. Anybody else? Singing. Okay, Sangeeta. What did he do? What was his occupation? What was he doing? Salesman, Priyanka. Helping people, Sangeeta. Okay. I think he was very good at fixing things, right? He was very good with his hands, right? So that was a skill, mechanical skills that he had. There are some more series that are there nowadays. Web series are very popular. There's one which is The Good Doctor, and Dr. Sean Murphy. He's very young, but he's a brilliant doctor. So this is also a web series which is called The Good Doctor, very beautifully portrayed by the actor, and that it shows, the that he's very brilliant in diagnosis, but he finds it very difficult in trying to interact with patients, breaking very sad news to them, telling them about things that what they are suffering from is very beautifully portrayed. Similarly, I don't know, maybe some of you all are into Korean drama, K drama. So there's this extraordinary attorney Woo. She is also a person who has autism, and but she's brilliant when it comes to legal matters. And it's a very beautiful series because it talks a lot about people with disabilities, and it's also talking a lot about inclusion. So it's a beautiful series. It's a K-drama series which is talking about inclusion. Right. Just love the way he is portrayed. Yes, Savia ma'am, that's true. It's beautifully done. And hats off to these actors because it's really difficult to enact somebody whom, I mean, they are not experiencing all these things. But it's very beautifully done. So if you all are watching these series, if you all have watched the movie, then yes, that is how autism has been portrayed, and you can get to see a lot of symptoms, you can say, about autism. So as we said that it is a spectrum, so that means it has a range. Okay, so it ranges in its severity. Kitna severe hai autism? So it ranges in in the severity, and it's like an umbrella term. So you have these five autism spectrum disorders. We'll be going through each one of them. There's autistic disorder, Asperger's disorder, childhood disintegrative disorder, Rett's disorder, and pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. So these are the different symptoms, or you can say these are the autism spectrum, and children are diagnosed depending upon the severity of the symptom of the autism. So autism A, which is a neurological disorder, it typically appears before the age of 3, and it impacts the social communication skills, and it is seen in both girls as well as boys. Asperger's syndrome, this is the mildest form, wherein highest functioning subcategory. So they do not have language delays. They are able to learn the language just like normal children, but they still have a lot of problems with struggling with social interaction and obsessions. So some of these children, they show obsessive compulsive disorders, OCDs. So that also can be seen, and that is the Asperger's syndrome. Childhood disintegrative disorder. This is again, it appears at a very early age. Unfortunately, it keeps on worsening. So the skills, they keep on worsening. Their intellectual disabilities also, it keeps on worsening. However, if it is detected early, then some therapies, some strategies can be used in order to help with the slowing down of the degeneration. Rett's disorder is interestingly found only in girls. And so it is, gender-based autism. And they do develop according to the, like regular children. However, they lose their communication skills as they grow older. So most of the girls who have autism, they have this Rett's disorder. Pervasive developmental disorder. So this is atypical autism. They have some of the symptoms of autism, some of the conditions of autism, but not all of them. So these are, the main spectrum. If you talk about the spectrum of autism, these are the main 5 spectrums. So then, how do you identify them? What are the social characteristics? The social characteristics is that they find it very difficult reading others' non-verbal gestures. Can you tell me why they are not able to read others' non-verbal gestures? Why do they have difficulty? It's related to something that we saw in the video. Non-verbal gestures are words that are not spoken, they're actions, hand movements, expressions, person's expressions. So, why do these children have difficulty in reading non-verbal gestures? Because they cannot retain. Fantastic, very good. Kiku Pandit, because they cannot retain their eye contact. Absolutely right answer. Yes, because they are not maintaining eye contact. When will you come to know the expressions of the person? It's only when you are keep maintaining eye contact, you're looking at that person. That's the time when you are able to read the non-verbal gestures. So they have difficulties. Then they have they have a lot of difficulties in sharing or even waiting for their turn during the game. They are pretty impatient because they do not understand that there is something, a give and take kind of situation. They are unable to do it. Of course, eye contact, they they rarely look directly into the eyes. And that's because, too much of stimuli or too many things. If you look at somebody or if you look at something, there are so many things going on, and that is too much for them to see. There was one child who was constantly pulling out grass in the video. He was not maintaining eye contact. That was a time when the narrator was speaking to the child. So the other child, who was a normal, regular child, was maintaining contact because he was listening to what the narrator was saying. But the child with autism, he kept on looking at the grass, pulling out the grass, sometimes looking at the narrator, then again looking down, because there's too much of information. There's too much of, facial cues, expressions, and that's too much for them to take in. And that is why they do not maintain eye contact. But mind you, it does not mean that they're not paying attention. I have seen children with autism in classrooms. My students are teaching them, and I mean, it's an inclusive classroom, so there are regular children along with children having different types of disabilities. And there was this boy who was not maintaining eye contact. There was a maths lesson which was going on, and my student was teaching maths, and then she asked a question. You will be surprised that none of the other children were able to answer, but he raised his hand. The boy who was not maintaining eye contact, he raised his hand and gave the correct answer. So though they are not maintaining eye contact, they are listening to you. They are understanding what is going on. Okay, so that's one more social characteristic. Then they may have lack of skills, and that is why they do not have many friends. And because they will not go ahead and start a conversation or even continue a conversation. So maintaining social interaction is difficult for them, and therefore they have that problem. They're more interested in things. So if you can see in the picture over here, there is a child who is over here. He is more interested in objects. So there is a leaf that is there. So he is more interested in the object. In the video, there was this boy, the boy who was more interested in the grass. rather than the person who was talking. Over here in this picture, if you can see this, uh, sorry, if you can see this picture over here, um, I hope the picture's visible. Yeah. So if you can see the picture over here, this is the boy in the blue t-shirt who has autism. So you have these two children who are playing, who are very happy. However, this boy is not able to interact with the children, but he is able to, interact and find it very interesting to he finds the leaf more interesting. So these children, they find the things more interesting because inanimate objects, they don't keep on changing, they don't keep on moving. So what we were talking about earlier, that visual inputs, so the visual inputs are less when it comes to a thing rather than people. Communication characteristics is another thing where echolalia, echolalic is something which they keep on repeating. You will see that they keep on repeating the same word again and again. 40 to 45% of the students or children with ASD, they are non-verbal because they have not developed language. So they are not able to, converse or talk. So they have a lot of difficulty in a natural give and take conversation. Um, I would like to just share one thing with all of you. It was very interesting. During the pandemic, I love to read blogs by teachers all around the world, the blogs that they write. So I was just curious because we were grappling with online teaching and learning and we didn't know what to do. So I was very curious as to what was going around in the world. And I read a few blogs and it was so interesting that there were teachers who were saying that children with autism, they actually became more interactive during the online sessions because they didn't have to have eye contact. So even if their cameras were switched off, they became more active during the sessions. They would put in their answers in the chat because they didn't have so many, visual inputs that were going on. So it was very simple. There was just a screen or maybe the teacher talking. They were not looking, but they became very, very active during the online teaching. That was something which was very interesting. I found that very interesting. And later on, of course, there were some research papers that were published talking about why it is that these children, they became so active during the online sessions. So again, they have poor speech, lack of speech is there. They have difficulty in a conversation, but they were able to, somehow in the chat, they were able to discuss things. We go on to the behavioral, what are their behavioral symptoms. So normally they have some kind of obsession or compulsion. They'll have some compulsion, they're preoccupied with maybe some television or arranging objects in a line or stacking them up. Maybe while they are walking, they will want to touch everything that they walk, that they pass by, or the tiles that are there. They would like to walk on each of the tiles in a particular pattern. So you have all these. They have very different kind of OCDs, you can say, obsessive compulsive. Some of the severe cases also have self-injury. So this is a severe form of autism where they may hurt themselves, they may bite themselves also, but that is of course a very severe form of autism. And so such children may not be may not be allowed to come into the regular mainstream. And in such cases, you have the special schools that are there. I am an advocate for inclusive education, but inclusive education to the point where it is not harmful for the child himself as well as for other children. So, severe forms, yes, then it becomes difficult to handle them, and they may bite or they might even harm themselves. So, you have to be very vigilant with them. Repetitive behavior, muscle twitches are there, flapping, they keep flapping their hands, finger movements, they'll have finger movements like this, muscle twitching. It was actually shown in the video also how they keep on moving their fingers and having muscle twitches. These are things which you can observe, and you can see that it happens. We attended a very nice program. It was about 2 weeks back by an NGO called Umid, and they had provided a platform for children with different challenges to showcase their talents along with their parents. And really, I tell you, it was such an amazing experience, because there were these children who were having different types of challenges and disabilities, who were singing beautifully, who were dancing gracefully. It was an amazing experience. My students who had gone as volunteers, they were in tears when they saw how beautifully these children were performing. In fact, I met a boy. I won't really call him a boy because he's 27 years old. He has autism. His mother has done wonders with him, and he has, he is a certified Zumba trainer. He trains children with disabilities online, Zumba, using Zumba. He also has a certificate in water Zumba, water aerobics, and he's also a Guinness World Record holder, because he's done Zumba, if I'm not mistaken, something like 13 hours straight. And it was such a mind blowing thing, because we consider ourselves normal. We will not be able to do such a thing. And it was amazing to meet such, success stories. Yes. And that is what the mother was saying, that I am very blessed because it was the teacher in the school who helped me out, who helped me identify what was my son's strength. So, my dear students, my dear staff, whoever is there, teachers, we in the education field, we don't realize we can play such an important role in the lives of these children, because they are with us in our classrooms. Every child has some talent or the other, and it is really our, what should I say, moral duty in trying to identify what is a hidden talent amongst every child who's there in the classroom. And if you are able to make the child feel comfortable in the classroom, other children will not bully him, because it's the teacher's behavior that becomes a role model for the students. So, as teachers, have a positive attitude towards these children, and you will see the change in the class, the students around them, how beautifully they are able to accept. Okay, let's go back. Another behavioral change or symptoms that these students they display is that they're very, very hypersensitive or maybe undersensitive to touch. So they can be very hypersensitive. If you touch them, they become, very. They may become aggressive, or they become very shy. They will just, it's like the touch me not leaves. The trees, or if you see the branches, if you touch them, they just shrivel up. So they become very hypersensitive or undersensitive. You're patting them, you are touching them. They are not. They it doesn't bother them. So such kind of very extreme kind of behavior you can see, it can be seen. um, and what happens with autism, like again going back to that program, there was this girl who was there who was she also had a challenge, and when she was sitting in the audience we didn't realize that something was there. Even I think their failure to respect. Yes, yes, that's very right. Yes, Dr. Prakash. Um, Even the respecting aspect, we need to respect them also. So there was this girl who was sitting in the audience, and she's so pretty. She was so pretty. And then when she went up on the stage to dance, that was when we realized that there was something wrong with him, because her dance movements were so over the top dance movements. Instead of going around and rotating around herself, she was revolving, she was going around, and it was a group dance. So it became she was dancing with her sisters and her mother. But of course we really appreciated, because it was a gathering of around 75 people, and yet she came up on the stage and she danced. So that itself, I think, is her success. So that is the thing, we don't realize it. It is only through subtle behaviors that we can make out these children. So how do we, deal with such children in our class? Teaching strategies that are there. First and foremost, the most important thing is having a positive attitude towards them. That's the first and foremost thing. The teacher's attitude towards the child with challenge is very, very important. And because you see, our attitude drives our behavior. So the way we will behave with them, without labeling them, without calling them names, appreciating whatever talent they have, so that it increases their confidence. And when you do that, what will happen, the other children will also start looking at this child differently and accepting they're not that different from us. We are very similar. In fact, some of them are far talented than us. So certain things that the ASD, or the children with autism spectrum disorder, they benefit is from a repetitive routine schedule. So if you have a repetitive schedule, problems with, yes, Dr. Prakash, right, they do have problems with muscles and coordination. That is also, and that is why the twitching and the repetitive movement, it is there. So coming back to the teaching strategy, what are the benefits? If you have a repetitive and a routine schedule, then they are very calm. If there are any changes, any deviation from the schedule, then even breathing. Yes, Dr. Prakash, I do agree with you that even breathing, some of them do have problems in breathing. And there are certain, in fact, there are some yoga exercises that have helped children. I have read some research papers where they have used different yoga exercises to help their muscles and their lungs, to increase their capacity, and they have it has led to quite some success stories. So deviating, if there is any deviation from their routine, they have mood changes or even their academic performance. I again going back to an experience where I had gone to one of these inclusive schools, which is there in Pune. And there was this child, it was the beginning of the term. And there was the small child, I think he was in higher KG. And every day, my students were doing internship in that school. So every day during the assembly, this child would come and he would start crying. He would just start crying, and the crying would go on until the assembly was over. And once the assembly was done and all the students would start coming into their classroom, the boy would then calm down. So the boy used to be taken into his class. There was a Moshi who was there who would sit with him and try and calm him down and all those things. And later on, then he would, um, go along with the class, and he would be absolutely fine. But when he used to enter the school, he used to always start crying. Again, when he left, his mother used to come to pick him up. So one day I spoke to his mother, and she said, "Ma'am, when I take him home also, at home, when he reaches home, he cries for at least first 15 minutes. So that was because of the change in the place." And she also told me this, that, "Ma'am, as the academic year progresses, his crying stops, because then it becomes a routine schedule of going to school and coming back. Again, during the summer vacation, it used to be a problem." So, simple things, we take many things for granted. So any change in the repetitive schedule can affect them. It can affect their behavior. So even if there is a very small change in the schedule, it's always better to tell them and make them prepared, get them prepared, no matter how small the change is. A little bit of change, maybe the next period will be something else. Prior, this thing should be told, the child should be informed that there is some change in the schedule. In trying to talk to them about the schedule, picture schedules are very useful for them. So instead of having, the timetable that we have it all written, the subjects that are written. Instead of that, if you have pictorial kind of schedule, that benefits them a lot. So I came across some very interesting pictorial schedules, which I would like to share with you. So this is a daily schedule. So you'll see that the first period is arrive at school. Then second period, you check in. So you talk to the teacher. Third period was reading. Fourth period is writing. Fifth period is maths, and so on. Recess, journal writing, physical education, lunch, art, shared reading, and then bus to go back home. So this is like a timetable, a daily timetable for the child. You can have it in a daily manner. And if there are any changes, then you tell them, you show them that you can even shift around the pictures to tell them that there is some change in the timetable. This is also a very nice resource that I came across, a to-do list and a list which is to be done. So there is this white tape that you see is a Velcro strip, and these pictures have got Velcro behind. So the to-do, whatever is completed, is removed from the to-do list and put it on the done list. So therefore, the child knows what is to be done and what is already done. So in the morning, he's had a bath, he gets dressed up, he puts on shoes, he has his breakfast, backpack, and goes to school. So this is a to-do list to be done at home. Similar to-do lists can be done in school. They have difficulties in expressing their emotions. Sometimes they don't know, what is happening to them. So you have these flashcards, these kind of cards, and you can ask them what kind of emotion you are having, and they can show you the card, because they have little bit of communication problems. So such kind of things can also be used. You can have also this process kind of resource cards, that first you have a bath, then get dressed, and next you put on shoes. So you can even have post-its that are there on the bench of the child, or even a kind of it. See, remember one thing, having a pictorial timetable will not only be beneficial for this particular child, it will be beneficial for regular children also. So it's not something that will affect the regular children. So these kind of resources can actually benefit even younger children, regular younger children also, if you use these resources in your classroom. They have some difficulty with learning through experiences. So, just simply hearing or seeing information is not enough for these students. So, you need to use a lot of direct instructions, very structured activity. You break down the activities into parts. You have a proper introduction, detailed explanation, and a summary, which actually that's what we do in our regular lessons. We have an introduction, we have a statement of aim, you have a presentation where you have a detailed explanation, then there is a summarization and then evaluation and so on, right? So you have direct instructions. Use a lot of learning resources, teaching aids, visual, auditory, tactile stimuli. All this helps them in understanding and generalizing skills. They have difficulty with figurative language because language learning has been affected. So, they may have difficulty in comprehending messages very literally. If you have figurative language, or if you have, you use humor, that he's not done his homework and he's, oh, very good, you didn't do your homework. So that sarcasm is something which they will not understand. They'll not understand metaphors. They won't understand idioms. If you say that I'm feeling under the weather, what is the meaning of I'm feeling under the weather? It means that you're not feeling well. So if you use such kind of language with them, it'll just confuse them. So it's better that you give very clear and very correct, very specific directions. Give them, allow them enough time to process the information. Use simple figurative languages. Why is it that we should at least use simple figurative languages with them? Although they find it difficult to understand. Why should we use figurative, simple, like don't eat like a horse? So that's easy to explain because a horse eats a lot. So don't eat like a horse. So my question is, why should we still use simple language? They have original way of thinking, Dr. Prakash. Yes, that's right. Any other reason why we should still include some simple figurative language? To give them the exposure. That's right, Jasmine. Right. To give them some exposure, because later on they are not going to be in this very protective environment. They're going to go into the world. They're going to go and interact with regular people, with regular, normal people who will use all these languages. So slowly but steadily, we need to introduce this language to boost their skills. That's right. Tejpreet, that's absolutely right. Yes, to at least boost their language, this thing. So just because they're having difficulty does not mean that you don't expose them to all these small figurative languages. So, and what happens, we tend to underestimate children in general. We tend to underestimate them. They can do much more than what we expect, but we can't even have very high expectations. Our expectations should be more or less, reachable for them. So you start off with some figurative language. They have the difficulty with pragmatic social communication skills. So the best way is to get them to do pair work, pair activities, use buddy system, right? So buddy system does not have to be only academics. It can be in the cafeteria, in the canteen, in the gym, playground, library. Laboratory work can be also, because yes, they have some fine motor skills, may not be developed, but you can pair that child with another child, and you can see that that they get the confidence and they are able to understand how it can be done. Role playing is also a very useful technique, wherein you give them some kind of an uh, a kind of condition or situation, and they role play. There's something which is known as dramatization also. What is the difference between role playing and dramatization? Anybody? If there are any language students over here, difference between role play and dramatization. Yes?
Ma'am, in role play,
Yes.
we portray a certain character. Like I wanna
Very good.
play certain character like this. But in dramatization, it can be anything. You can be a chair, you can be a curtain, you can be a person, anything. But you dramatize it like a quality. But in role play, you portray a certain character, like certain king or like anything. Maybe that's it. I
Okay.
feel that's what
Okay,
I feel.
okay. Just Jasny, you're pretty much close by. Jasny, I'll ask you only. In role play, are there proper dialogues, or in dramatic or in dramatization, do you have proper dialogues, pre-decided
I'm not
dialogues? Which
clear,
one has
ma'am,
it?
about that.
Okay.
Not sure
See,
about
role
that,
play.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Drama is more structured. Yes, Savia ma'am. Correct. Role play is conducted on the spot. Fantastic. Yes, absolutely right. Savia ma'am is correctly said that role playing is that you just give a situation and the person has to put themselves in that role and just yes, dramatization. Sangeeta is right that you have drama has got dialogues, dramatization has dialogues that is there. So dialogues will be very difficult for them to learn and to speak it and to enact it, whereas role playing, you can ask them to be, okay, you are so and so, how will you go to a bus stop and ask for directions, or you want to go and buy something from a shop, so how will you go? And one can be a shopkeeper and one can be a customer and such kind of role play. So role playing is very flexible, and that is why role playing becomes the same. Appointed person as a team captain or a football team is temporary and instant. That's right, Sangeeta ma'am. You're appointed, and dramatization is long-term process, and role play is a short one. That's right. Tejpreet has also got it right. Yes, so role play is for a short period of time. And that's why I wanted to differentiate between role play and dramatization. Dramatization will be difficult for these students to enact because they have to learn up dialogues and they have to deliver the dialogues. Whereas in role play, what happens is that on the spot, as much as possible they can initially, they can be a part of a group, and slowly in pairs, and then you can have them individually playing acting out roles. So what happens is that because of the social interaction, it not only helps the child with autism spectrum, but also the children, the regular children, because tomorrow you never know, your colleague whom you're working with may have autism. Then how do you deal with that person? How do you work with that person? Inclusive education actually helps out children who are regular children also a lot. It benefits them a lot. I have seen regular children becoming so empathetic. I mean, of course, children should do very well, get good marks and all that, but you don't have to tell them. They run, they get the ramp for the child who's in a wheelchair. The teachers are not saying anything. They'll go and hand out the papers to the child. They'll go collect the books and give it to the child. The teachers are not saying anything. It's just coming out from them, within them. So that's empathy at its best. And wouldn't we want to see our future generation being so empathetic towards each other? So, yes, inclusive education also benefits regular children too. Role play does not require preparation, but drama does. Yes, Malhari Gaikwad sir, yes, that's right. It does not require that much preparation, and that's why role play is so useful. Difficulty with behavior. Now, they will have behavioral problems. They may become aggressive, they may become moody, but you need to be firm but tactful. You cannot, embarrass the child or humiliate the child, make the child feel ashamed, scold the child, because we really don't know what's happening inside this child. The child may be doing it involuntarily also. So instead of that, you need to be patient. It requires a lot of patience, students. But the thing is that we are talking about inclusive education for the betterment for of all the students. So what happens is that you need to be patient, because some of these children are really brilliant, they are amazing, and denying them education is a crime. So you try and accept these type of children, and they will be, some of them are very affectionate. I have seen children with autism, they may not maintain eye contact, but they are very affectionate, they are very sensitive towards others problems, so they can be wonderful human beings also. Then difficulty with responding to environmental sounds, noises, loud noises can be very, they get distracted, they get very badly disturbed. You need to know what are the noises that distract the child. It could be very loud noises, it could be even a very soft sound which is distracting the child. Many a times my students, they like to, whenever they ask a question and the students answer, they tell, okay, students, clap your hands. And when I'd gone to observe their lessons in one of the schools, I saw there was this child who was, very disturbed. The minute children were clapping their hands, he was closing his ears and he was putting his head down. Otherwise, he was absolutely normal. Absolutely, he was answering in the class. He was paying attention. But the minute there was a lot of noise, he would get very disturbed. In fact, it happened twice, and then I went and I told my student, I went up to her and I whispered in her ear, don't ask the students to clap, I will let you know later. So this is something that we teachers need to be very observant in our class. If the child is having any other thing, if there are, even beeping sounds coming from outside. So such type of children, if you have them in your class, do not seat them near the window or near the door. Preferably keep them in front of you, where you can observe them, where you are able to, interact with them, even though they are not going to look at you, maintain eye contact, but still keep them in front of you. So if there is any disturbing sound or anything, try and remove it as soon as possible. If I have also seen some children who are walking on a road, they have these earmuffs. So these earmuffs are like, they are actually soundproof earmuffs. So these children, they have difficulties if even, traffic and things like that. So there could be some students who have difficulty in listening to some kind of very loud sounds. Also give them some time and space to calm down. Talking about sounds, I saw a heart-wrenching video last year, which had, I was just going, it came onto my YouTube feed, about this mother who was trying to control her 6-year-old autistic child who was having she was having a meltdown. I mean, there was one person who said meltdown. The child was crying and shouting and screaming, and the mother was trying to hold on and trying to calm the child, because there were firecrackers that were being burst. Outside, they were bursting firecrackers. So during Diwali, when you burst a firecracker, give a little thought to these autistic children. They are not enjoying it, and their parents are also not enjoying it. They are having a tough time trying to control these children. So, though it may bring joy to us, but yes, there are children, there are animals, there are children who are not enjoying. So, why not, celebrate in such a way that it'll be everybody can enjoy it, right? So, loud firecrackers, next time you burn one, burst a firecracker. Do think about these children who are having such a tough time during these celebrations. Collaborate with your parents. Teachers and parents normally, we should not be at loggerheads with one another. When you become teachers or as teachers, you have this kind of child in the classroom, become the parent's friend. Because the number one problem that parents have is acceptance. They do not want to accept that something is wrong with their child. And that's because the child is a part of them. If you're finding fault with their child, you're finding fault with the parent. So even if you have such children in your class, if you meet the parent, start off with what the child can do. The parent already knows that the child can't do these things. She or he or must be hearing the same things from teachers from lower classes. Start off with what the child can do. Get the parent in your team, on your team. And as a team work, you can do wonders with these children. So you can even yoga, meditation, as I was talking, that is also something which is it has been very useful for these type of children. So in conclusion, I would like to say that support the autistic child through advocating for them, understanding them, taking time out for them, including them, speak out for them, and make a difference by including them in your classrooms. These are the references from which I have taken all these topics. So if you want, you can take a screenshot, or I could share these references with Ketan sir, and he can. And this is an entire video. I just showed you a part of it, 5 signs of that you don't have autism. And so the video is the link also, I will share it. Please watch the entire video. It's beautifully prepared because it's showing a comparison of a regular child and autistic child. There's one more video that I would like to share about a mother's journey and how she is trying to help her child overcome autism. So thank you so much. Autism, it is just seeing the world from a different angle. Thank you so much to the participants for being so interactive. I really had fun discussing this topic with all of you. And I mean, in the chat, thank you so much. I'm really at a loss of words. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, the floor is open for discussion. Thank you.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Can I
Yes,
speak now?
Dr. Prashad sir. Yes, Dr. Prakash sir. Yes.
Actually, this autism is a very serious issue. The parents should know about it. That I agree with that. But whether it can be avoided before the age of 3 years,
Sir,
what are the
there is no such.
whether it can be avoided?
So they have not been able to. Yes, sir. I get your question, sir. They have not been able to identify exact. Yeah, they have not been able to identify. Yes, sir. That's what I was trying to say, sir. They have not been able to identify the exact causes of autism. Just like, there are many disabilities which they have not been able to pinpoint and find out. There's a lot of research that is being done. Some of them are saying that it is genetic because there is a big percentage of
That can be
cases
found
where
out. Genetic we can find out, no?
genetic can be found out, but then the tests are not very conclusive, sir.
Acha, acha, okay, okay.
The
Otherwise,
tests are not very
environmental and all that
conclusive.
can be. Hey, whether
Yes.
environmental factors are they able to control or what?
No,
Environmental
sir.
factors
I
can be
haven't.
controlled.
I haven't come across any research papers that are talking about
Yeah.
the precautions. You know that before birth or any precautions to be taken. I haven't come across any
Uh,
research papers.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know in medical terms if there
Okay.
is anything that is taking place, but in the educational research field, I have not come across any papers that are talking about it. So because the percentage is pretty high, sir. And as I
There are
said,
mainly
that
two
it
reasons
is
are there. Uh,
yes, sir.
Mainly two reasons are there: biological and other is environmental.
Environmental. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are the two main
I think
factors that are there.
main factors are biological and environmental. No, any other
Right,
factors are
right, sir.
there?
No, no, sir. These two
Any
are
other
the main
factors are there?
factors.
No, no.
No,
These
no,
are the
sir.
more two main
There are no,
factors.
these are the two main factors
Environmental
that
can be controlled, no?
environmental changes can
Whether
be controlled,
environment,
sir. It is through therapies
yes, yes.
and teaching
Hmm.
strategies that you can, but
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
only after detection, sir. So what
After
is
detection.
what I have come across? Yes, what I have come across when I've read these research papers is that you can reduce the severity of it if it is detected early
Right,
through
right.
therapies and this thing. Because the main thing is, sir, is that we need to make them
Uh,
self-sufficient. We need to
right,
make
right.
them self-sufficient. So what they keep on saying is try and because they will be talented in some skill or something like that. So as teachers and parents, we need to identify what is that one talent or one skill that they have and try and develop that so that they can use that later on as an occupation, as a means of
Right.
living.
Such children are having a high intensity also. They get easily, they can do the work easily, independently they can do it because of the high
Yes.
intensity.
Yes,
But
sir.
however, there's one.
Am I on?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry,
They are
ma'am. Sorry to
focusing on one
interrupt.
work only, no? That's why. Am I right,
Yes, sir.
madam?
I
They are
just need
focused. Yes.
Dr. Prakash, sir.
Ahiri sir, let the students ask few questions on the session.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
I
As
was
we are
having the
really
doubt or
short
no
on time,
question. The doubt
and
was there. Okay, sir,
yes,
no
sir.
problem.
Yes,
Let the student ask. Yeah, even I am a
yes.
student, sir.
I'm
Okay.
I'm really sorry about this thing as we are short on time. So that's why we are moving on. As in, we are still holding on to the
Hmm.
Q&A session.
Okay,
If
okay.
anyone else has a question, you can raise your hand and then you can unmute yourself, or you can even put the question in the chat box down there.
Yeah.
Right? So, any questions?
There's one thing that I just want to add. I think I missed out on is that sugar should not be given to these sweets, or sugar should not be. It should be avoided. Giving sweets or sugar because it tends to make them more hyperactive. So sugar, sweet, anything that causes a sugar drive kind of thing should not be given to. It should be avoided. Yeah. Any more questions?
I think ma'am was loud and clear, and the explanation it tells it all. Yes, there is one question here. If an autistic child is getting complaint from the school for their behavior, how to deal with that as a guardian?
As a guardian. Um, okay. Yesterday there was this parent who had come, and just a second. If spoke on the behavior, how to deal. as a guardian, as a parent, I guess. Okay, so there was this child who was creating a lot of problems in the school, and yesterday her mother had come, and she was discussing her daughter. I have a co-teacher, Dr. Gauri Varade madam, and so we were this thing. No, I don't. It's okay. So she was talking to us about the child. So as a parent, as I said, the first thing is, first of all, is to accept that something is wrong with the child, with my child, and to be open to what the if the teachers are helping out. Now, what happened over here was the parent came to us because one of our students is the class teacher, and she was helping out this mother, and so the mother wanted some more information. She wanted to know how she can help the child, so she came and she met us. So the best thing for the parent, of course, is first is to accept it, and secondly, if the school is helping out, then to take the help from the school. If the school is not helping out, now that is a concern which many parents have, and many a times the school wants the child to be removed, and that's very unfortunate, and that's normally what happens. In such cases, then the parent has no other choice but to move the child to a different school. Nowadays, there are some schools which have become very open to, of course, because of RTE also, and Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan also. And in fact, NEP 2020 is also talking about inclusion. So many schools have accepted it. As a parent, I would again say that try and identify the skill that the child has. Okay. I'm like a broken record again and again, because these children, they have some talent, they have some skill. Identifying that is the responsibility of the teachers as well as the parents. So I hope I have been able to answer the question that as a guardian, first of all, accept about the child, and secondly, try and find out which skill or talent that the child has.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Any other questions?
Thank you so much for your sweet messages in the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, then we shall move on as we conclude with the question and answer session. Now it's time to give the feedback. So I would invite any two participants to share their feedback as like how this session has really impacted their understanding of autism. So please feel free to do so.
I request any two participant to briefly give their feedback, please, because it is very important for us. Any two participants voluntarily, students, teachers, professor, whoever have joined, please.
So I want to give the feedback.
Okay, kindly proceed, please.
Firstly, I would like to thank you, ma'am, Sunanda, for giving such an amazing session. I really liked the session because the start was you showed us what is the difference that we can identify with the small details that we miss out. And I love the part when you said that as a teacher, we have to be very careful about what we are going to like do with this kind of children, like being careful about noticing the small things. And as a like a future teacher, and I will always remember these points which you have said, to be careful about what I say to these children, because you do not even this kind of children with autism, but also with any kind of child, that we have to be careful about what we say. And that is the very important learning that I got through this session. Also, the way you have shown the different spectrum of the autism, like there are different like variation that are there, and how, what are the characteristics, social, then emotional. So those areas also, when I got to know, then it's very like clearly understandable ki how we can differentiate them, how we can help them as a teacher as well. So thank you for this amazing session, ma'am. And yeah, and I really like this session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jasni. Maybe our next participant would like to share their thoughts.
Especially, I welcome participants from other states to kindly share your feedback. It will be our privilege to listen you.
Anyone?
Okay, Mrinal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, kindly proceed further.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. As a part of the feedback, I would really appreciate your effort here. And this session has been exceptionally valuable for us in case of broadening our perspective on supporting the children with autism. So, moving on, we have this link which would be shared in the in call message as well as on the WhatsApp group. Here, Vivek has shared the link. So, this is the link that you can go out and fill it up. It's for the feedback. Okay. And regarding the certificates, it would be issued in the next coming 10 days, coming 10 working days. Yes. I now invite Mr. Ratnadeep Khade, in charge principal and webinar chairperson, for the concluding remark.
Thank you, Mrinali. Before
Yes, sir.
we wrap up today's national webinar on understanding our autistic friends, I want to express our sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for joining with us. I'm too much excited to announce that for today's webinar, near about 130 participants from 13 different states and union territories of India were registered for the webinar, and many of them have joined with us. We have covered a lot of ground on autism, and hopefully you have gained valuable insights that can be applied to your teaching work throughout your career. Remember that the conversation doesn't end here. Please reach out to us with any further inquiries and keep an eye out for upcoming updates on same topics. Thank you again for your time and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, sir. It is now my honor to invite Assistant Professor Ms. Savia De Souza, Research and Development Coordinator and our webinar coordinator, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Mrinali. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. As a coordinator of this national webinar on understanding our autistic friends, it is my distinct pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks. By God's grace, this event has been truly enlightening, and its success is a testament to the collaborative efforts of many individuals. First and foremost, I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Roy. Your insightful presentation, your engaging approach, and your willingness to share your expertise has provided us with a deeper understanding of autism and its nuances. The knowledge you have imparted today is invaluable, and I'm confident it will make a real difference in how we interact with and support our autistic friends. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the management of Ponda Education Societies, President Shri Ravi Naik, Secretary Shri Ritesh Naik, and of course all the management members for their unwavering support and encouragement in organizing this webinar. Their vision and commitment to fostering inclusivity are truly commendable. A special thank you to the in-charge principal and webinar chairperson, Mr. Ratnadeep Khare, for his support, guidance, and for providing the necessary resources to make this event a reality. We are grateful for your leadership and your belief in the importance of such initiatives. I'm also indebted to Assistant Professor Mr. Ketan Kamble, in charge of the Inclusive Club and IQAC coordinator, for his invaluable contributions to the planning and execution of this webinar. Your dedication and attention to detail were instrumental in ensuring its smooth operation. To my amazing team of students, Chirag, Kiran, Om, Priyanka, and Vivek, who are part of the technical team, Narissa, Renali, who anchored the webinar, Sashil, who sang the welcome song so melodiously. Thank you, students. Your enthusiasm, hard work, and willingness to go the extra mile were essential to the success of this event. You are truly an inspiring group. Finally, I want to thank all the participants who took the time to attend this webinar. You are from 13 different states of India. Your active participation, your thoughtful questions, and your genuine interest in learning more about autism made this event even more meaningful. We hope that you leave here today with a greater understanding and a renewed commitment to creating a more inclusive society for everyone. Thank you all once again for making this webinar a resounding success. Have a restful night.
I also grabbed this opportunity to thank Ms. Savia De Souza, webinar coordinator, for helping me out and then making this program successful. And thank you especially for vote of thanks and thanking all of us, okay, on behalf of PS College of Education. Thank you, Savia ma'am. Renali, please proceed.
Yes, thank you, sir. And thank you, ma'am, for delivering the vote of thanks and for recognizing and appreciating the efforts of our guest speaker, entire team, and participants that has made this session enriching and contributed to the success of this webinar. Thank you.
Nadi, I also want to thank, I actually forgot, our teaching and non-teaching staff. I can't believe I forgot them. They have been such a support as well. And their suggestions towards this webinar were so very fruitful and valuable and to make it a great success. So thank you to them as well.
Okay. Let us now take a moment to honor our nation. We will now witness the national anthem being presented in sign language. This serves as a powerful reminder of inclusivity and the importance of accessibility in every aspect of society. I invite you all to stand if possible and join in with your hearts and minds as we pay tribute to our nation.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Hello everyone. I, Assistant Professor Ketan Kamble, in capacity of webinar convener, hereby declare that webinar is over. Thank you so much. Good night. God bless you all. Waiting for your feedback. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Ketan sir. This was one of the most wonderful webinars that I have also witnessed. Start from the very beginning till the end. I wish you all the best, and every student also, every participant over here. I wish each of you the very best, and I hope to meet you all in person soon. Thank you so much, and good night to everyone.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much,
Thank you very
Nanda
much.
ma'am. Your feedback matters a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
May I leave the meeting now, sir, Ketan sir?
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Core group, please be there. Core group, please be there. All my core group. Om, thank you so much for hosting the meet. Nerissa, Mrinali, thank you so much, for comparing. And then afterwards, Vivek sharing all link.
Yeah,
Chirag
it
is
was really
missing.
amazing.
Yeah. And Chirag, he's missing, but thank you so much for designing PPT. And Savya ma'am for vote of thanks. And of course, Ratnadeep Khade sir, who has led the meeting, okay, for his support. Thank you so much. आपके सिवा ये सब कुछ नहीं हो पाता. Thank you so much, all of you.
Sir, thank you for having such an amazing resource person. She's so very knowledgeable.
Certainly. Very
She's
nice
good.
person. Very nice person. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Great job, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Chalo. Huh? We shall leave.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, beta.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, beta. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.